day, Junior Tikkies. I'm Mrs. Primacombe. We're going to look now at Chapter 1, Activity 4. You are provided with the information relating to Best Bakery for March 2024. The business uses a fixed markup percent of 125% on cost. Required, enter the opening balances and totals in the account on the 1st of March 2024. Post the cash journals to the General Ledger on 31 March 2024. Third question, close the accounts at the end of the month on 31 March 2024. And question number 4, complete the trial balance. So this activity will focus on the general ledger and the trial balance. Now, if you look at the information given to you, it says trial balance of Best Bakery on 29 February 2024. Now, we are currently busy with March, yet that tells us 29 February. That is not a mistake. Remember that the closing balances at the end of this month will be the opening balances the next month. But now there's a question mark, and a question mark, which means we need to solve that first. So you need to apply your skills, that which you've learned from the trial balance when you were in grade 8, and apply it in solving the question marks. Starting with, what can we solve? They provided us with the total of the debit, which means that I can solve bank. This becomes my balancing figure, the missing figure. So we need to work backwards, and working backwards, it means opposite calculations. So 350,625 minus everything equals 58,100. Then you should know that a trial balance, the debit should be equal to the credit side. And once I've got this total, I can take the total minus 100,000 so that I can solve the cost of sales. Alternatively, if you have taken the markup percentage, which is 125%, and you take the cost times 225 divided by 100. If I add those two together, it should equal exactly the same answer. So information B, you are given a cash receipts journal, a summary of the cash receipts journal, and then they specifically say to you, sundry accounts in the cash receipts journal were for the following. The same applies with the cash payment journal. The reason why this is so important, a reminder, when you're posting from a money column, it is always on the last day of the month. But when you're posting from sundry accounts, it is on the day the transaction took place. So this is very important to understand. The first account that we're going to complete is capital. Capital is in the balance sheet account section because this is an owner's equity account, which means the balance brought down will appear on the credit side. Now we need to look at the additional information, or information number B. From the cash receipts journal, on day 12, the owner increased his capital balance by 50%. The money was paid directly into the business current account, issued receipt. So I don't care at this instance about the money was paid directly into the business bank account or that they issued a receipt. What I care about is on what date did this transaction take place. It said also the owner increased his capital balance by 50%. So his current balance is 100,000. So if he increased that by 50%, it means there was an increase of 50,000. So to show that, it means that bank will be debited and capital will be credited on day 12. From the cash receipts journal, my details is bank. My new total or my new balance is 150,000. There's nothing on the debit side, so it's not necessary for me to write balance carried down, balance brought down. I can just total the credit side. Drawings is in the balance sheet account section because this is an owner's equity account. The balance brought down will appear on the first day of the month, which is the 1st of March, on the debit side. Same as it appears in the trial balance on the debit side. Now, from the cash payment journal, there's no drawings, but now we need to go and look at sundry accounts. So if I look at transaction number 5, the owner purchased a new tablet for $11,400 for his child's birthday and transferred the money to High-Tech Corporation. This means that the tablet was purchased, but for personal use, and whenever it's for personal use, it must be shown as drawings. This will increase his drawings, which will have a negative effect on the on the owner's equity. We start with, because this is from sundry account, we start with on which day did the transaction took place. From the CPJ, my details is always bank and the amount 11,400. The next step, there's nothing on the credit side, so we can just draw a line and we can total it. Equipment is regarded as a current asset, which means that the opening balance, the balance brought down, will appear on the debit side. Now we need to see, we've looked in the cash receipts journal, there were nothing, but in the cash payment journal on day 7, it said made an EFT payment for $25,200 to Supertech for new equipment purchase after 5% discount was granted. So there's a calculation involved. Apologies, there's no calculation involved. The key word there is after 5% discount was granted. This means that they've already taken this into account. So this transaction happened on day 7. From the CPJ, my details will always be bank and the amount is $25,200. There's no transactions on the credit side, so I can draw a line and I can total it. Trading stock. Trading stock is regarded as a current asset. The balance brought down from the trial balance will appear on the debit side. This will always be on the first day of the month. When we're posting from the cash receipts journal and from the cash payment journal, and we're posting from the money column, this will always be on the last day of the month. So now, starting with the cash receipts journal. Cost of sales means the cost of the goods, in other words, the trading stock which we've sold. So what will happen with my trading stock account? As soon as we sell trading stock, our current assets will decrease. But now there's a question mark, which means we need to solve that first. So to solve that, use the markup percentage which was given to you. Take the total sales times 100 divided by 225. That means my cost of sales was 27,000. To solve trading stock, when we purchase trading stock, our assets will increase. You've learned from the CPJ, bank is credited, the rest is debited. So for us to get the trading stock figure, take bank minus wages minus stationery minus sundry accounts. Now we can take it to the general ledger, and we start with March 2024 on the 31st. From the cash receipts journal, my cost of sales is 27,000. From the cash payment journal, bank is going to be credited, trading stock is going to be debited. The amount, 47,000 $16,140. Now that we've posted from the cash receipts journal and the cash payment journal, we can balance this account. To balance the account, take the debit side. The debit must be equal to the credit side minus the 27,000, and that is my balance carried down, means March, end of last month, April, the beginning of the next month, balance brought down. This is how much stock we've got available for sale. Bank is regarded as either an asset or a liability. So if you go to the trial balance, bank appears on the debit side, which means that the balance brought down will appear on the debit side. It's regarded as a current asset. From the cash receipts journal, bank will always be debited. I can either have total receipts or sundry accounts, but you can't write both. From the cash payment journal, bank will always be credited. Again, it's either total payment or sundry accounts. Once we've taken bank from the cash receipts journal and the cash payment journal, we can balance this account. Again, be very careful. I can start with a positive debit balance, but I can end with a negative, a credit balance, meaning now that we owe the bank money. We've now got a bank overdraft. So you always need to check the debit and the credit side. For example, the cash receipts journal total, the total receipts is less than the total payments. But because we had an opening balance of 58,100, the debit side is more than the credit side. This means that my new balance is 44,340, means balance carried down 44,340. Sales is in the nominal account section, which is an income to the business. Sales from the trial balance will appear on the credit side, the total brought forward. Posting from the cash receipts journal, my income will increase on the credit side. From the cash receipts journal, my details is bank, and the amount 60,750. Once you are done, you can total that. Cost of sales is regarded as an expense to the business. This means that my total brought forward appears on the debit side. Posting from the cash receipts journal, cost of sales will be debited, our expense will increase. Now be very careful. I cannot write bank as my details. When you see cost of sales, you should know that the contra account, their BFF, their best friend forever, is trading stock. Once you are done posting, you can draw a line and you can total. If we look now at wages, insurance, and stationery, all of these are regarded as an expense to the business, which means that the total brought forward from the trial balance will appear on the debit side. Posting from the cash receipts journal and the cash payment journal, you need to always check both because we can get a refund. So we need to check all the transactions. If we've returned items, what we've purchased, and they provide us with a cash refund, that will appear in the cash receipts journal. So always check. So starting with wages. Wages from the CPJ has a money column. This means at the end of the month, wages will be debited from the CPJ. My details is bank 16,000. Then we've got stationery. Stationery at the end of the month, my expense will increase On the debit side, from the CPJ, my details is bank. And then, if you go to day 26, received a cash refund from P&A Stationers for stationery returned 1,780. Just think about this now. From the cash receipts journal, bank is debited, the rest is credited. So what's going to happen to our stationery? Our expense is going to decrease because we've returned those items, we've received a refund from the cash receipts journal, my details is bank, and the amount 1,718. Then day 20, issued an EFT in favor of OUTsurance to pay the insurance 3,450. This means that our expense will increase on day 20 on the debit side from the CPJ, my details is bank, and the amount 3,450. Once we've posted all the transactions from this cash receipts and the cash payment journal, we can close these accounts. There's nothing for wages on the credit side, so we can just total it. The same with insurance. But if you now look at stationery, we need to close off this account by first adding the debit side minus the credit side is my total carried down, means total brought forward. Completing now the trial balance. When we complete the trial balance is done from the general ledger. So we have to take our new balances that we've calculated in the general ledger. As it appears in the general ledger, it will appear in your trial balance. We start with capital, account number B1, 150,000. Drawings, account number B2, on the debit side, 36,500. Equipment, account number B3, can you see it must be the same number, 89,635. Trading stock, account number B4, and my new balance, 64,340 on the debit side. Then we've got bank. Bank still has a balance on the debit side. This is account number B5. Moving to the nominal account section, so we don't add anything now in the trial balance. We're going to list everything that's now in the nominal account section, starting with sales, account number N1, my new total. Cost of sales, account number N2, my new total on the debit side. Wages, account number N3, 40,000 on the debit side. Insurance, account number N4, 9,880 on the debit side. And stationery, and this is why it is important so that you balance that account. My new total for stationery, 7,180. Once we've done posting from the general ledger, we can now total. And this, if we've done this whole process correctly, it means that the debit side must be equal to the credit side. If the debit side is not equal to the credit side, it means somewhere you have made a mistake. And then you need to go back and you need to check, where did you make the mistake? Thank you very much. I want to leave you with this quote. The elevator to success is out of order. You always have to use the stairs one step at a time. Have a wonderful day.